Hello, Algebra 2. So today we're going to look at graphing sine and cosine functions with amplitude and period changes. So today is going to be really quick, but it's a lot of stuff to get in just because it's going to be a bunch of changes. So like we said, it's going to be an amplitude change and a period change. So let's take a look. Let's jump in right away. My amplitude on this particular function is the number in front, remember, so that's going to be 3. My period, I'm going to go 2 pi divided by the b, which is pi in this case. Pi's cancel. I'm left with 2, which is a really nice number. My increment, 2 divided by 4, because remember we're going to take the period and chop it up into 4 spots. So 2 over 4, well that simplifies down to 1/2. Now, domain, remember, it's still going to be all reals. We'll look at the range here when we're done graphing. So, graph my thing here, all the way out. Graph my amplitude first. My amplitude's 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, -3. Now, remember, you're going to take your color for your amplitude. Mine is blue, and I'm going to draw out, make sure I don't forget to not cross that, or to actually make sure I touch it every single time I go up or down. There we go. So now I need to figure out my period. So my increment was 1/2. So 1/2, next increment, 1/2 plus 1/2 is a 1. I'm going to 1.5 there, 2 here, 2.5 here, 3 here, 3.5, and 4. Notice I have covered 2 full periods already, so I do not need to graph further. It's a cosine graph, so it's going to start up at the top and go down. So start here, go through 1/2, bounce at 1, go through 1.5, bounce at 2, go through 2.5, not a very good curve today, bounce at 3, go through 3.5, and bounce at 4 and go back down. Make sure you always do the little arrows on the end. So now, filling in my range. I went from -3 to 3, so my range is going to look something like that. Not too bad, right? Let's try it again using this one in particular. So my amplitude, remember that's the number in front, 2, period, 2 pi divided by my b, which is 3 in this case. Can't simplify that, it's just 2 pi over 3. So this is going to be gross. 2 pi over 3 divided by 4. Go 2/3 divided by 4 quick on your calculator, and you will see you'll get 1/6, which is pi over 6, okay? So that's going to be my increment for this time. My domain, of course, is going to be all reals. So let's go ahead and graph this puppy. So up and down, 1, 2, -2. Let's go ahead and put a blue line at that to mark off my amplitude. Or the height of my graph. There we go. Now, this is going to be hard just because my increment is going to be really silly. So it's going to be pi over 6. My next increment would be 2 pi over 6. 2 and 6 simplify down to pi over 3, right? Then I would get 3 pi out of 6. 3 and 6, I'll get pi over 2. So that was 3 pi out of 6. 4 pi out of 6 would be 2 pi out of 3. Okay, so I've made one period. 5 pi out of 6, because this was 4 pi out of 6. 6 pi out of 6, well that's just pi. 7 pi out of 6. and 8 pi out of 6, which would be 4 pi out of 3. There we go. So then I am going to graph my function. So it's a sine. Can't start there because it's sine. So I'm going to go through 0, 0 this time. Oop, that was bad curve. Let's clean that up. Curve down that way. There we go. So it's going to bounce at pi over 6, go through pi over 3, bounce, go through, bounce, go through, bounce, and then go through, and of course somewhere along the lines it's going to bounce again up there. There we go. So I have graphed a full period once and twice. And my range, I was going through -2 to 2. That's the end of this video. This is Miss Marsh, signing off.